official release and the birthday of Sandpiper Spell by Tom Pearson. I couldn't see because of the light. So, as many of you know, no proper spell starts without invocation. So I'm here to offer you one for tonight.
Look it up.
I will look it up so it's proper.
Dear Google.
Dear Google. Our letters are hidden somewhere in between the pages of rain, as the spontaneous note, like the unstoppable birth of the third wing. I lingered my stay in the room full of spring, where you imprinted my name as a doorbell ring. I arrived to sing for another spring, with the stormy words in the lines of my skirts, with captured moments between the pages of my looks. I brought you water flowers, some books wrapped in ashes of past, to be burned with the dawn, to be blown in the wind, as the circle begins, as the circle ends, to honor all steps, timely clocked by the Lady of Darkness and Dreams. In this airy coats are my hidden spells, is unwritten score of my heartbeat cells, dancing your name in this quiet music of flight. Thank you, everybody, and I'll welcome now the master of the evening, Tom Pearson.
This is actually sized for me, that's why. Okay. How are you? It is bright, but I need it so I can see.
I couldn't see.
Now I can see. Can you hear me in the back? Everything sound okay?
Yeah.
All right, good. I want to make sure you're happy. And there's a couple people I want to thank before I do the first poems, and those are Renata, of course, for that beautiful introduction, and also Maggie Morris and Elizabeth Carino, who both offered editorial advice and guidance, and caught those nasty little commas. And I really appreciate that so much from you. And I'm so happy you guys are all here. This means the world to me to have you all in a room together. Okay, so since Renata offered that invocation, I would like to offer one thing back, which was not on the program, but it actually wasn't even supposed to be in the book. It was the very last thing, but somehow Renata coaxed me out of my dark cave in the middle of February to go see tango dancing kind of nearby here, and it was the first time I saw her perform tango, and I wrote this as I was watching her, actually not, as I was watching her wait to dance. There was a cantadora singing, and I'll just read it to you. I'm going to go right from that into a second poem, but I'm not going to tell you how that works. Uno, for Renata. For the kiss that never came, crawling on thorns of faith, hot vapor over cold ground, she mouthed every word to every song, immunizing us against San Valentin. Two sides to every passion a cantadora crooned. Through each whisper of the heel, feet navigating the terrain of together loneliness. Sangria glasses leached the pigment from our lips, trading its own hue on our tongues. 40 below. A shrouded prism pit, bottom blue of sable sea, waiting, sitting. They come. 2 breaths. 2 breaths moving in shallows, angels gliding over acoustic inhales, souls rising upright on black bubbles, the wingspan of this liminal buoyancy between flotation and flight on together currents. Death lessons for what is to come, one day in the letting go. Spirit breaching surface. Cilantro is still in my hair. It's helpful, it's for courage. So here's a little set of poems, and I'm going to read all of these together too. It's called Childhood, Sunday School, High Chaparral, Vanishing Point, and Fledgling. And these poems are related in that they all kind of come from a very rural southern childhood moment in time where things were not always clear and often confusing. And a lot of that material, if you've known my work in theater for long enough, you will recognize some of it because it manifested in, most prominently in Vanishing Point. But here we go. Ants make their way up, on and over, mapping the subterranean hollows all our lives were built upon. The trailer, off its cinder blocks now, with prow pointing forward, hitches to the back of the Reaper truck, our childhood hauled to the city dump. Still hanging in a corner, a netless basketball hoop, its snuff lip drooping to one side. The trees outlive our imagination here. The owl lamp and the black leather sofa. A t-shirt and rags used to wipe down countertops. The propane tank, our makeshift steed resting in its corral. They watch, dumbfounded to see us, here, standing beside our own names, misspelled in asphalt. That historic moment of progress that paved over our dirt beginnings. The treehouse, the mute girl, always taller than the rest. J gone in the night, D dispersing in daylight, Z in the ground beyond the ravines. On the loblollies and oaks inside the fence line taken in to make room for a new lot, while the grandmothers and grandfathers hold the perimeter, the live oaks and maples, pines and palmettos, witches' hair, and conquistador beards caught in their branches, still protecting what remains of us in their sacred shadows. Even in their misgivings and judgments for what we've squandered, such spiritual derelicts, running upwind in this death coat, unraveling to get ahead in life. In a rusted churchyard, the lawnmower blade rests, its ancient recitations carved on cinder block. Overtaken with weeds, this side-lit ofrenda rises above a waiting grave, children pulled aside, flames held to fingers, taught the eternal temperament of hell and self-blame. Snake-handled, my cousin rushed to the hospital for loss of faith. Speaking in tongues at the revival luncheon, cottonmouths slither into a neighboring ditch. We go down to the river. Your valiant vaquero looks back with serpentine smile, overgrown of underbrush, a prodigal father. He sits on a bar stool at the High Chaparral and orders a traveler, whiskey and tea, unfastened, outrunning too much to it rolls off again. Your criticism of him, this tired cowboy. An indecision, the war within him until nothing left but boots on a rain barrel. George's sunset, the calico corona of autumn forgetfulness, Helios melts red into clay. Clouds of frenzied gnats, a quivering vertigo of distant laughter. Orange evangelist. The summer he rode into town, headlights piercing the hill, rounding red road in twilight. Covered in white now, a vanishing point. Wind-blown shawls, moss women caught in storm, draped over live oak, bales of hay cast shadows in moonlight. The dearly departs. Past quarrels furnish all the rooms back home. From the driveway, a fisherman in waders bisects the horizon, moving slowly over mud flats, an engine revving. Disheveled by waterspouts, cattails in the marsh, mark barometric oppression. Dirt road turns to dust. Cardinals shake bedheads and scatter the droplets on the hibiscus petals. Past the county line on Tolamato Road, dragonflies ride air currents over the truck hood. That was my childhood.